Alright, so UFC 310 is just around the corner. I decided to make a video on the top 5 prospects I believe in going into 2025. Now, I'm going to preface this. These aren't prospects that I think will be champion. The conditions have to be that I believe these prospects can at least make it top 5, maybe number 6, but basically that 6, 5, and above ranking spots. I will accept 6, you know. And these are going to be top 5. I'm going to go through some honorable mentions, so in a way you can say maybe top 8. But when we get to the top 5 list, we're going to be talking about my top 5 in order on the level of confidence I believe in moving into 2025. I do think they will be top 5 eventually in the UFC, and I do think they'll make it before their hype train derails. Now, that is also another important thing. These have to be prospects on a sort of train. Now, there is an exception to the rule, but we'll get into a little bit once we get there. However, for the most part, they have to be on a heater right now. Again, only a few exceptions here, but we're going into the hype trains, basically. And I'm going to start this one off by an honorable mention. Now, the honorable mention is Mick Parkin. Now, why am I picking Mick Parkin? Well, he is young, so he's got a lot of time to improve. He is 10-0 in the UFC. He is an Englishman, and he is a heavyweight. And that's something to be said here, because heavyweights suck. They really suck. Like, if we're looking at the rankings here, just looking at the bottom 15, you have Shamil Gaziev, I think Mick Parkin would probably beat, but she's number 14, and he is ranked. Waldo Cortez, I think Mick Parkin could probably beat. Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, Mick Parkin probably beats. Same with Ty. Maybe a Derek Lewis, but that's where we start getting rocky, and that's my main problem with Mick Parkin here. A lot of his fights are way too close. Very, very close. Good win over Lucas Brzeski. A little bit of a weird situation if I'm remembering properly, but the Muhammad Usman fight, you could arguably give to Muhammad Usman. It looks like shit. I wouldn't agree with the decision if it went to Muhammad Usman, but there is some sort of argument there. Didn't look all that good. Caio Machado, kind of the same thing. You know, Jamal Pogues, you know, you're going to decisions with these guys. I'm kind of worried here, you know, and ever since he's been in the UFC, he is 4-0, but he's not looking that great, and that's why he's in an honorable mention. I don't believe this guy will be top 5. I think he'll probably cap out at top 10. So kind of sucks for Mick Parkin, but that's the first honorable mention. Moving on to the next honorable mention here. This one might trigger some of the grappling fans. Bo Nickel! Ooh, big surprise. He's an honorable mention. By the way, these honorable mentions are hype trains I don't believe in. That's what I'm saying. So Mick Parkin, I think he's going to get chinned, basically, pretty soon. If he gets some stiff level competition. Bo Nickel, similar case here. Now, I will stand my base. And I will say, I thought Paul Craig won a clear 2-1 on Bo Nickel. Round 2's pretty close. I'm not going to say clear. Definitely up in the air. But I do think he made it way, way too close with Paul Craig. Paul Craig arguably wobbled him in the second. You can go back and watch it. There was a little bit of a right elbow that clipped Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel definitely didn't take it that well. Arguably the hardest landed strike in round 2, going to Paul Craig. Paul Craig also outlanded Bo Nickel in the first round. Even if wonder if the stats would show that. They might. Does it show it here? Probably not, right? View play-by-play? No. 10-9, yeah. Yeah, scorecards were really rocky for this one. Giving a 30-27 was kind of crazy. But let's just look up stats. Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. I believe... Was this, no, this is Tapology. I don't want that. Where is it? It's not that. It's not that. They're not going to show it, is it? Round by round. Updates. I don't want updates. Fuck, I don't remember the thing was. Anyways, regardless, Paul Craig outlanded Bo Nickel, even if it was by 1 strike. He was also applying more pressure than Bo Nickel did. Bo Nickel was on the back foot a lot. He missed a lot of strikes as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if you rewatched it and it'd be a little overblown. But he's clearly scared of grapplers. He is terrified of jiu-jitsu wizards like a Paul Craig. Didn't even want to risk shooting a takedown. The little nut hugger. Now, he is ginger, and this is another thing we're going to mention here. No ginger on this planet in combat sports has a good chin other than maybe Canelo Alvarez. Other than that, there's not really good gingers around here, you know? Yeah, like, I'm just trying to think. Like, you have Steamroller Frivola. That's a pretty good example, I guess. You have Shara Bullet, which you can say something about his chin right now, I guess, but not really looking that great. My point is basically Bo Nickel's kind of overhyped. He is 7-0, but you're making it really close with Paul Craig. Arguably every round could go to Paul Craig except for the last. That's why this fight is a little in my opinion. But regardless of that fact, if he's scared of people who are good jiu-jitsu guys on the ground, I think he gets fraud checked by Roman Dolidze. Let's just check the rankings real quick. Roman Dolidze. He's number 10 right now. I think Roman Dolidze would beat him. I don't know if Apollo Costa would beat him. You know, Bo Nickel might just be scared to shoot a takedown on Paulo Costa, for fuck's sakes. Does he pass a Jack Hermanson test? You know? Could he beat a Joe Pyfer? Could he beat a Joe Pyfer? Probably not. Like, stuff like this where it's just like, I think he gets chinned, and I think he gets chinned pretty badly at some point. So I'm completely off the train. I don't believe in Bo Nickel. I would pick a lot of fighters to beat him. If you're still on the Bo Nickel train, hey, more power to you, brother. But I just can't be on that train, you know? Too many gingers I've seen get chinned. And this guy arguably getting rocked by Paul Craig here in 2024. Just saying. You know, arguably lost the fight against Paul Craig in 2024. Really not excited for that. Moving on, we have... Now, this one hurts me. This one does hurt me, you know? I still respect the guy. I'm still gonna root for him when I see him fight. But it is Nate the Train, baby. Fighting this, not this weekend, next weekend, depending on when I upload this video. But he's fighting in 310 against Do Ho Choi. I got nothing but prayers for my boy. I'm hoping he wins. He is coming off a wicked KO, his first KO, when in the UFC against Jamal Emmers. He was a massive underdog in that fight too, so big ups for Nate the Train. The only reason why I don't think this guy's making it top 5, 6, or above, I hate seeing it, but who knows? The great Bilal Muhammad became champ at the ripe age of 37, so he might actually be 38 by now, I don't even know, you know? But, he's around the same age as Volk. I guess he's got that going for him, but I just can't be picking a hype train. You know, it is Nate the Train. It is only one win. That's another reason. He did lose to Dan Ige. However, this was, you know, pretty good performance. We love Dan. We love Nate the Train here. We love this guy, you know. He went on a bit of a tear. Got a little derailed. He's back on the train, baby. But I'm not picking him against some of these dangerous strikers. Now, if this wasn't... Is this featherweight? Is he just fighting in featherweight? Please tell me he's not fighting. Yeah, okay. Featherweight. Now, in featherweight, we do have some big problems in featherweight. I'm not gonna lie. Coming up, at least. Now, we know he's not beating a Dan Ige. I think Bryce Mitchell probably just lays on him boringly, unfortunately. Edson Barbosa could be a good fight if he does win UFC 310. That'd actually be a sick fight. Edson Barbosa, Nate the Train. Hey, I pick him right, I pick him good. But like Giga Chikadze maybe beats him. I don't think he really gets past. He might beat a Lerone Murphy. Overrated as fuck. Could beat a Calvin Kattar. But then we get into Aljamain Sterling. I don't think that's gonna happen. Then we get into Josh Emmett. there's a world, but I don't think it's this one. Then we get into Arnold Allen. Then we get into Brian Ortega. And I know it's 2026, or sorry, 2025 about to be. But I just can't believe in Nate the Train to beat those ones currently right now. Now, if he knocks out Doo Ho Choi, hey, there might be a whole video on it, let me tell you. But I can't hop on the train. I'm going to be rooting for the train, though. Let's just say that. Now, moving on to the top 5 prospects I truly believe in. The top 5 prospects I believe might be able to reach top 5 in the rankings, in their own respected divisions. And this first one is Mateus Rebecki. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, but he just lost to Diego Ferreira. True. But he just whooped Orobai. He just whooped Orobai. Everyone is picking against Rebecki. I didn't, though. Just saying, hey. Ooh, Pickmaster here. Just saying, hey. I don't condone gambling, but hey, you know. Tune in for the picks, baby. Just saying, I hit that one. But no, he's got some great finishes for 20 wins. He's got 9 KOs, 7 submissions. That's 16 fights and by finish. Kind of insane. His one loss is getting knocked out, kind of, to Diego Ferreira. And then really early in his career, literally 10 years ago. So, I think this guy goes far, man. He looks good on the ground. He's got some really good wrestling. And he looks good on the feet, as he whooped Orobai. You know, as some fans of Orobai are. I wasn't on the Orobai train. Thank fuck I wasn't. And I picked my boy, Mateus Rebecki. He just looks good. And I think that's the thing. He's getting finishes, you know, even in the UFC. Gets the Contender Series. Then he beats Nobody Cares for decision. That's just basically the nerve check, you know. And he's done all this recently. Like, he's fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times within 2 years. That's not bad, you know? This guy could arguably fight. He just went to war. Arguably had one of the best performances this year, or one of the best fights this year. I would probably put it top 5, maybe top 10 of the year. So I think Rebecki's a train we need to hop on. Now, this is the one exception where he's only on a 1-fight win streak. But I think you understand why I'm on Rebecki here. Rebecki is kind of like, it's kind of concerning he's 32, but with this activity, guys, it is lightweight we're looking at here, but it's fucking, he's good, you know? And in lightweight, I'm looking at, where do we go here? Lightweight champion, right? So, does he beat an Armin Sarukian? Maybe maybe not Charles Oliveira, you know? But I could see him beating an old Gaethje. I could see him, okay, we're not touching Max Holloway yet, alright? Maybe not, but he does he beat Chandler right now? I'd pick him against Chandler. Does he beat Gamrot right now? That would be an interesting fight. Does he beat, okay, Renato Moicano gets the money pass. Hey, Renato Moicano, I'll never pick against again. That's all I'm saying. Rafael Fiziev probably doesn't beat him, just being honest. But we have to see. Rafael Fiziev's coming off an injury. It's been a little bit, you know, maybe some jitters. Could he beat Benoit Saint Denis, you know? I think he could easily, I think he easily beats the bottom 12. Or not easily, but I think he could get a 30. I can see a 30-27 in these fights. Or a finish. I think he smokes Turner. But other than that, he is very high level. And I think old Oliveira is turning into like a Nurmagomedov. And he did get wobbled by a 38-year-old Chandler. I know it's Chandler, guys, but he still got hurt really badly in round 5 against 38-year-old Chandler here. So I think if Rebecki is able to stop takedowns and be a little smarter, as he's been, Rebecki could probably crack top 5. And I do say crack top 5. I think he'll probably make it to top 5. At this time, Max Holloway will probably be champion. And then they'll be doing Ilya Max for the lightweight belt once Ilya's fought 3 contenders. And then, you know, if Ilya wins, then we can call him the GOAT. But if Max wins, we can call him the GOAT. Just normal prediction stuff. But in that universe, he probably does crack the top 5. Justin Gaethje will probably be hanging around here. Dan Hooker, in his old age, will be hanging around here. Michael Chandler probably won't be hanging around there, but Gamrot could be hanging around there. Beneil Dariush, if he ever decides to fight, you know, a good final fight would be Rebecca, and then Rebecca gets a nice ranking after Beneil goes down a little bit. I'm just saying, you know, I'm fairly high on Rebecca here. That was a stellar performance, insane chin that he showcased in that fight, insane effort he showed. Bloody ass fight. We know he can go to wars. I think this guy is like a future Michael Chandler in a way. I think that's actually a great way to put it, you know. And I do mean Chandler in terms of he gets top 5. He is technically dangerous in every fight. But he's just the better version of Chandler. That's going to be my prediction. He was on a tear. He slightly got derailed, and now he's back on a tear after taking a very tough opponent in Oralby. Now, moving on to number 4. Now, number 4, I do believe a little bit more in than Mateos Rebecca. And it is Carlos the Nightmare Prates. Now, why am I picking Carlos Prates? Well, I think everybody fucking knows. He just smoked Neil Magny around. Yeah. He flatlined him. I thought Neil Magny died for a few seconds there, or a few minutes there, actually. It was taking a little bit of while for Neil Magny to get up. And Neil Magny kind of did look lost there. Now, watching the fight live, it was definitely like, okay, Carlos, when are you gonna get the striking going? Because Neil was getting the leg, but Carlos showed great takedown defense. You know, Neil was trying to get the clinches going. Carlos was able to reverse the positions, you know. There's some good technique we saw from Carlos Prates. And I almost picked Neil Magny in this. I didn't. I picked Carlos Prates, obviously. I did pick KO. I believe I picked round 1 KO. But yeah, Carlos Prates is the real deal. He is smoking people. He knocked out Jing Lee here. He knocked him out. He knocked out Charles Radke to the body. This was a, oh man, if you saw that KO, it's like a, oh my god. You know, that's like watching Dan Hooker, Edson Barbosa tier. It's like, oh, okay, Charles Radke could just not handle the damage and he had to crumble, you know? And that's aging very well. Charles Radke doing pretty good again. You know, back in the win column. Jing Lee, ignore that voice crack. Jing Lee, that was his first time being knocked out, and it was in round 2, and it was a great performance from Carlos Prates, and he's on a fucking tear. Sure, he had some early losses in his career, you know, there's some TKO there, some submissions there. In a way, that's kind of like not a bad thing, if you think about it, because it means he knows what it's like being finished. He knows what it's like being wobbled. He knows what it's like being in tough submission positions. And I think he's learning a lot. Also, he is Fighting Nerds. Fighting Nerds are goated here. Now, the reason why he's only number 4 and not higher is mainly because I'm worried about the cardio. Now, we are seeing a lot of finishes in the first and second round. He was in 1 championship. I actually didn't know that. Wow, that's kind of crazy. But we're seeing a lot of finishes in the first and second round. He has that 1 championship. But he hasn't been to a decision in 5 years, going on 6 years. Okay. Technically, 5 years. Math. Right? 5 years? Yeah, that would be 5 years. If that last fight was in December. So, yeah, 5 years was his last decision. That's pretty good. I'm getting kind of worried what round 4 and round 5 look like. Now they have to survive to make it there. But when we're looking at welterweight, we're looking at JDMs. You know, we're looking at Shavkats. Could he finish a Shavkat? Possibly. But if he doesn't, what does a round 4 main event, round 4-5 main event look like for Carlos Prates? And if you're wondering kind of why, outside of the finishing potential, why I'm a little bit more worried about his cardio than others, he smokes a lot. He's in training, he's smoking. Fight week, he's smoking. I think he was smoking at a press conference. Listen, for all the smokers out there, I'm sure you know it does affect the lungs. It really does. And people are human beings. I think there will be a time where Carlos Prates does meet a match where he just can't get past. But I do think he makes it top 5. Top 5, I think, in welterweight's pretty easy right now, outside of prospects, if we're just looking at old guard. Because the old guard, realistically, is all gone, except for Kamaru Usman. Could he beat a Kamaru Usman? I would wager. Colby Covington, I think he smokes. I think he smokes an Ian Gary. I think he beats Gilbert Burns at this point. Yeah, actually, because of the takedown defense. You know, Buckley gets a little complicated. Stephen Thompson, we get a little complicated, depending. Jeff Neal, I think he smokes. Michael Morales might be a question. But ranked number 13, he's getting up there. I do think he actually does make it to top 5. I think he probably gets to the point where, you know, either a Sean Brady is probably the perfect style to beat Carlos Prates, someone to just hold him down and make him try to work to get back up, and has clean takedowns now in his career. So kind of rough there. JDM could also be the guy to finish it. So if JDM's coming off a loss to the champion or whatever the case may be, whoever the champion is, I can't remember his name, unfortunately. But Shavkat, I think Shavkat could... Late finishes we're talking here. We're talking like Carlos Prates main events here, guys. We're not talking about Carlos Prates, you know, feature fight, fucking fight night Macau, you know? We're talking like a Carlos... And sleep deprivation could be a big thing, but, you know, Giga Chad has a kid in, I think it was Australia. He wants to fight in Australia, because he just literally has a kid there. This guy is fucking... He's causing a new colonization around. This guy's a true Brazilian. You know, respect that shit. Anyways, yeah, Carlos Prates, number 4. I respect him. Hope he does well. Moving on. Damn, the voice cracks. We have someone from the same fighting camp. Mauricio Huffy. Now, why am I picking Mauricio Huffy over Carlos Prates? Not just because he's Brazilian. This guy is what Conor McGregor thinks he is on the feet. Now, I know he's getting decisions against James Longtop, and I know... actually, whoa. Was that the first guy he didn't finish? That's the first guy he didn't finish. That's crazy. This was short notice replacement, though, so I'm kind of, like, caveating that. Outside of that, he is Mortal Kombat finishing Jamie Malarkey by scissor fucking tripping his ass. And then he's going into James Longtop on short notice, up a little bit on catch weight. No-looking shovel hooks, faking eye pokes. Like, I love the way this guy fights, man. Like, bro, in round 3, he literally was just like, you know, Conor McGregor stance, and then he got hit, and he's like, boom! Fucking right hand over the top. Wobbles James Longtop. James Longtop had a pretty good chin in that fight. He is tough as shit. He is known to be tough as shit. So I find that pretty interesting. I like Mauricio Huffy. And I think at the rate he's going with, 28 years old, young, on a tear, finished every opponent that was on not a short notice. This guy could be the future of lightweight here, you know? Or welterweight. Even though he's not. What is this? Ugh, brother, shirt dogs, fix this. Welterweight. That was 165. This was 150. Like, brother, nasty. Anyways, he has just made it to the UFC, but I think he goes far. I think he goes far, and I think he goes fast. You know, I think he'll probably get ranked by the time he's 29 in June. Yeah, I think. A little bit after he's 29, he'll be ranked, and then after that happens, he probably gets jumped up, because pretty soon I think lightweight is going to have to flush out all the fucking old heads, the Dustin Poiriers, the Justin Gaethjes, the Michael Chandlers, the Beneil Dariush's. Like, we got to flush them out. So if Mateus Rebecki isn't doing it, I bet your boy here, Mauricio Huffy, is going to do it, you know? Sao Paulo, Brazil. Yeah. I like Mauricio Huffy. I think he gets it done in the lightweight division. I think he's looking really, really good. Now, I know some people are concerned about the no-looks. That's kind of the point, though. Maybe one day he does get chin, try and go for a no-look, but I think that's kind of his style, you know? He's going to ride and die on that style. And I think maybe at the highest level, he will struggle with some heavy grappling, but we haven't really got to see a lot of grappling offense or defense from Mauricio Huffy, because he's just been on KO tear, bro. People just can't survive long enough. So we'll see what happens. I believe in Mauricio Huffy. There's no reason to not believe in him right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on, we have someone I'm sure not a lot of people are expecting me to pick here. Joaquin Buckley. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, this guy's got chinned at middleweight, bro. Well, this guy's been finished before, bro. How can you say he's on a train, bro? He's on a 5-fight tear. People forget, man. Joaquin Buckley's 30 years young. This guy's still a young prospect. He's about to be 31. That's prime age, you know? And he's getting a jump in Colby Covington here. If he beats Colby Covington, there's a way this guy just can fall asleep and get ranked number 5 if people start shifting down like at Ian. I think Ian Gary's already up. Like a Shavkat Rakhmonov, you know? There's a way Buckley gets into this after just beating Colby. He is on a tear. This is kind of cheating, but I am predicting Joaquin Buckley to cap out at top 5. I don't think he's champion material. Could be. But he's really good. The only thing that sucks about Joaquin Buckley is a Chris Curtis knockout. Is losing to Amabov. I think Amabov is shit. You know? Is losing to Kevin Holland. But that was a long time ago. And this guy is active as fuck. You know? 5 fights within 2 years, similar to Mateusz Rebecki. So I think he gets the Colby fight. He beats Colby. Might be able to finish him. Buckley does have a lot of buck in his shots. Clever wordplay by me. But he's also got really good grappling. I think he showed that in the Wonder Boy. Now, I'm not saying Wonder Boy's a good anti-grappler or whatever, but I think Buckley's good enough on the ground to at least keep questions going. Like, is he better than Sean Brady on the ground? No. Could he finish Sean Brady on the feet? Yes. You know? And while it's not a clear path to victory for Joaquin Buckley in almost any fight because he's known to not have a great chin, he's been having tough performances against Ruziboev, which Ruziboev is pretty good. Or at least he's semi-good. You know, at least unranked level, so he easily passed that test. Couldn't finish him, is what it is. But when we look at welterweight here, he does beat... That's lightweight, what am I doing? He does, like, smoke a Jeff Neal, you know? Like, I'm picking him and anyone below him, pretty much. He just beat Wonder Boy. He smokes a Jeff Neal. I think he beats Morales, personally, I'll be honest. Maybe not Carlos. Beats Vicente Luque. Probably beats MVP. I think that fight would actually be sick. I would pick him against Ian Gary when that fight was being rumored. Think he does beat Colby Covington. Toughest matchups are going to be JDM, just because of the finishing potential, but we've seen JDM get held down to the ground. Basil Hafez has done it. Gilbert Burns recently done it. I think if Joaquin Buckley plays a smart game, he would be able to just hold down JDM, and he would be able to stay dangerous on the feet to make JDM hesitant. Sean Brady, it's possible he finishes Brady on the feet. He is still powerful. He's still dangerous. The way he just knocked out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, it feels bad because that's not even a case of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson having a bad chin. That is a case of he landed a perfect strike against a cage. I think every single human being in welterweight gets knocked out if they were in that same position. If they were getting up from that takedown, trying to get away from the takedown from Joaquin Buckley, and Joaquin Buckley you know, lands that clean right fucking hook with your head against the cage, I think everyone's going out cold in the entire division, you know? So he could probably beat Shavkat. Shavkat's hittable, Joaquin Buckley hits. It's possible he beats Kamaru Usman. That might be the next fight. Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman after Colby, you know? He probably beats Leon at this point. Leon is almost like a free win. Not a free win, but you know what I mean. Like, Leon out of the top 5, I think, is the easiest win here. So, or Kamaru Usman, either or. And they're both number 1 and 2. If they lose another fight to Shavkat, Brady, or JDM, they're just going to still be top 5. I think Joaquin Buckley got an easy path. Same thing with Protest. But yeah, I truly do believe in Joaquin Buckley here. You know, he is my number 2 pick for the prospects I believe in. He is still young. He is still a prospect, even though he's 20 and 6. And he has had shitty losses, like getting knocked out to Kevin Holland. But those were almost 5 years ago. 40 years ago and a bit. But yeah, you got my point. Now, the one true prospect, I believe, that might make it all the way to champion. If you don't know, on my channel, it is Brian the Butcher fucking Battle. Alright? Now, why am I picking Brian Battle as my number 1? I think he smokes Randy Brown in a round. I think he's going to make it look easy, and then he's going to be given the roses he deserves as being a solid favorite. He is young. He does have some mega wins, and his 2 losses, let's just take a look at that. were 5 years ago. And then the other one is Renat Fakhretdinov, which has God's gift to man, and he can just win every decision, you know, or make it a draw. Yeah, Renat literally, is he still flawless? He is still flawless in the UFC. Yeah. His last official win was over 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. But, no. Renat is pretty good. He submitted the great Kevin Lee, guys, in the first round. No, but his one loss to Renat Fakhretdinov was a little earlier in Bryan Battle's career. Almost 3 years ago at this point. That's not saying the most, but after that, he goes on an absolute tear. Knocks out Gabe Green in one of the fastest KOs. Submits AJ Fletcher, which AJ's only path to victory here was going to be a submission. So he kind of smoked Gabe Green, where the only way Gabe Green is winning is by finish. That didn't happen. Smoked AJ Fletcher by the only way AJ Fletcher is going to win is by submission. That wasn't going to happen. Gets a no contest to Angelusa, which is aging very well because Angelusa is still looking good in the UFC. And Bryan Battle was whooping his ass. Won both rounds. I think it was no contest round 2. It was. But he clearly won round 1. Round 2, he was even picking up some steam. Bryan Battle was looking really good. Angelusa had no way to combat it. And then he just quit. He made a fighter quit. It was a little bit of an eye poke. You know, kind of sucks. It does happen. You know, some people believe eye pokes only happen when you're looking for it. Others believe that eye pokes are accidents. I think sometimes eye pokes are accidents. It's not like Bryan Battle was doing the John Jones stance. He was actually trying to hit Angelusa, but you know, thumb got in the way. It is what it is. But Angelusa wasn't even that bad of an eye poke. With some of the ones we've seen where like the fingers digging in the eye and shit, there was no blood. There was no, oh shit, that really hurt. That was just, oh, it just nicked your eye. And now he's taking the easy way out. Said he couldn't see. Right after, he's like, fuck this shit, man. Fuck. You know, I was whooping your ass, bitch. And he was talking shit to Angelusa's brother, which was in the crowd at the time. Absolute fucking savagery from this man. He was about to get 2 KOs that night. From both men from the same bloodline. This guy's insane, bro. No, but I do think he's... I love his personality, man. It's just perfect for MMA. He talks shit. He will just come out to the Paris song, if you know what I mean. Starting with an N, ending with a G, if you know what I mean. In Paris. And then he'll do that in Paris against a Frenchman. And then whoop his ass in round 2 and say, y'all really thought I'd lose to a French dude? Come on, man. I love Bryan Battle. He is my pick for the next welterweight fucking champion. Maybe not GOAT, because he does have to rival the likes of GSP. But I would pick him to be the next champion. I'd wager 2026, where we're talking title shots here for Bryan Battle. A young Bryan Battle. A tall Bryan Battle. A good reach Bryan Battle. You know? He is a little sloppy on the feet at times. I don't like sometimes when he has his hands too low. That's kind of the main thing. And he has been knocked out before. Now, is it going to show here? I don't think this is it. Yeah, I don't think it was LFA. But he's been competing for a while, man. If you don't know, he did get head kick knocked out while he was chilling at heavyweight for a little bit in his amateur career, I believe. It's one of the goofiest looking knockouts. But I like to see that, man. He's a reverse... What was that guy's name? Jake Collier, I think his name was. He's a reverse version of that. He wasn't welterweight ballooned to heavyweight. He was heavyweight and was like, you know what? I can do something in this sport. And he decided to get disciplined, make his way all the way down to welterweight, and he's been looking fucking good at welterweight, alright? Welterweight's got some cooking, you know? It's got some cooking. But I do like Bryan Battle here. I'm picking him as my #1 prospect. I'm putting my neck on the line here, obviously. Because this could backfire, obviously, if Bryan Battle goes on, like, a 3-fight losing streak, gets cut for, like, a random reason or whatever. It doesn't become ranked or whatever. But I'm picking him to not only crack top 5 to eventually... No, I'm picking him to crack top 5. But I do think... Ooh, in the future, ooh. We're looking at when he's 33? I could see champ. Just saying. 32? I could see champ. Just saying. He just turned 30, alright? This guy's a killer. though. I really do believe in him. Anyways, that being said, those are my top 5 in order of the prospects I believe in, with a little bit of honorable mentions, because I'm kind of off the train at this point for the honorable mentions. But the top 5 I truly believe in: Mateus Rebecki, Carlos Barates, Joaquin Buckley, Mauricio Huffy, and Brian fucking Battle. I love all of these guys. I want to see nothing but them to succeed. I guess we'll see in the future, baby. But with all that being said, I want to thank you for watching. I daily upload. I do daily streams. Hey, come chill out. It is what it is. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you for watching. As always, I hope you have a good day.